Truck Racing ist einfach vom Rennsport der geilste Sport überhaupt für uns.
The FIA European Track Racing Championship arrives at Zolder in Belgium. The final third of the European Track Racing Championship kicks off on this tradition-rich racetrack, located about 80 kilometres away from the Belgian capital of Brussels. As the sun shone down, both the paddock and the track were buzzing with activity. With the ETCC, the European Touring Car Championship, also taking place, we were expecting a great deal of action. From being named Jinx in Most because of his engine trouble and subsequent engine failure, to man of the weekend at Zolder, the young German Andre Kurzin fought back in a big way. Cutting your losses, it couldn't be better. Looking at the overall standings before this weekend, it's clear that the closest battle is the one for second place. Adam Lacko, the front runner, has a big lead of 60 points, and that makes him the favourite for this year's title. The Czech driver's goal is to extend his comfortable lead if possible. As the overall front runner in the championship, he's well prepared and was once again hoping for rain. Lacko's son, Nicky, showed his father who's boss in the wet conditions on Friday.
We have a lot of race in front of us. We have 12 race, 180 points in the game, and we must fight for every point, but we must fight with head.
As before, 3 drivers are in the running for second place. At the moment, Jochen Hahn has the best chance of defending the number 2 spot in the table. His Iveco truck is constantly improving, and the former European champion is optimistic and ready for a fight. But after so many years, I'm being realistic that I will probably finish in second or third place. And actually, I've accepted that. But now we'll see if we can close the gap between me and the man in front. Maybe make him nervous. I know how it feels. You get a little nervous before your first title. You just get nervous. Is something cracking or is everything shaking? With that in mind, we want to create some pressure, secure second place, and see if we can end up in first, second or third by the end of the year. Steffi Halm has been making headway like never before, diligently accumulating points each weekend. Third place is within reach.
wird auch hier das Ziel sein, einfach mal.
My goal will just be to have a sensible performance in qualifying. My driving has weakened recently, and so I never had the starting position I wanted. That's my primary aim, a good starting position for the race and then remain in a podium position throughout.
Und dann eben auch wieder konstant Podiums einfahren.
For Hungarian Norbi Kiss, the past 2 race weekends were anything but ideal. But for the 2014 and 2015 champion, he wants to buck the trend at Zolder.
Yes, we had some bad luck in Hungary and in Most as well. We lost a lot of points, which would, if we not even go forward, just to keep the same places that we were falling out from, then that would put us back to second place in the championship easily. But yeah, there's no ifs, so this is what we have to deal with.
The Portuguese Rodriguez family has produced 3 generations of racing drivers. The grandfather, Eduardo, the son, Jose, and the grandson, Jose Eduardo. But only 2 are competing here at Zolder. At 62 years old, Eduardo has handed over the keys to his truck and the spot in the race to his grandson. Next year, Jose Eduardo will follow in his grandfather's footsteps by competing in the ETRC himself. Dominique Orsini is at a similar point in his career. The Frenchman has raced passionately for 17 years with limited funds, often driving at the back of the field, but he's nonetheless happy.
My pleasure to finish the race, finish a good weekend with the nice mechanics that I have this year, and for me it's the best, it's nice. It's nice. And to be with Norbi Kiss, with Jochen, it's nice for me. It's nice.
The same is true for the Dutchman, Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort. During the week, he drives across Europe in his regular truck, switching to his racing truck for the weekend. EK Truck Racing is always a good bet to come in the top 3 of the Promoters' Cup. I hope I can make it to the podium once or twice, but that will be difficult because Robino is here and his truck is faster, so I'll need to be lucky to get on the podium, but it'll have to be enough. 17 trucks line up on the starting grid for race 1. The fastest driver in qualifying was Adam Lacko, the championship front runner. Lacko looks nervous before race 1.
The important is to make a really good start, go full throttle when it's coming the green, and after it's very important the first left and after 2 right corners, and when it's there you are on the front, it's okay.
Joining Adam Lacko on the front row is Norbi Kiss, who lost out to the Czech by 0.4 of a second in the Superpole on Saturday morning. Then on the second row, Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albafetti with only 0.008 of a second between them. Heading the third row in 5th place is Sasha Lentz after a surprisingly strong performance in qualifying, followed by David Rosetsky, Adam Lacko's teammate. He is followed by the 2 title hopefuls in the Promoters' Cup, Andre Kurzim in 10th, lagging behind Jose Rodriguez, the class leader, who starts in 8th. Away they go for race 1 at Zolder in Belgium. Adam Lacko on the right versus Norbi Kiss on the left. They speed down the start-finish straight for the first time. Lacko pulls in front at first, but Norbi Kiss and the number 24 Mercedes uses the inside line to his advantage, winning out against the Czech, who, as we heard before, wants to drive with his head.
The start was very good. I could stay there on the outside, and the braking to the first turn was very good also. And in the middle of the turn I see that Adam is slow and he's sliding. So I'm like, oh, let's go. And I could stay on the outside there, you know, and the second turn is the right one. So that was one for me. So I could go in front, and I was like, oh my God, did this really happen?
Right behind the big 3, Kiss, Lacko and Hahn, is Sasha Lentz in 4th position. Having come from the Nürburgring to Belgium with the wind in his sails, Lentz has made it to the podium once in recent races. That was in Most, where he finished 3rd in a reverse grid race. The field is as expected. Norbi Kiss at the front, followed by Lacko, then Hahn, Lentz, Albafetti and Halm. Then on the 4th lap, Adam Lacko has a shocker. The Czech driver struggles to accelerate out of turn 8, at which point Jochen Hahn catches him and passes Lacko's Freightliner truck. Others follow suit. The gearbox has failed. Adam Lacko hobbles back to the pit and is unable to finish the race. This could be a severe setback for the championship leader.
Coming to the right corner on the circuit, and I shift 7th gear, and it's nothing. It's coming maybe first gear like this, it's the truck immediately stop. Jochen don't have a space, he pushed me a lot because he don't expected this, and after I go really slow on the maximum speed what is possible, maybe it's 10 kmg, I come to the pit, and on the pit we see it's the problem and we must go here to the tent and change the gearbox.
This leaves Norbi Kiss at the front unchallenged, with a large gap between him and Jochen Hahn, who will have seen the battle for the final spot on the podium in his rear view mirror. This time it's between Sasha Lentz and Antonio Albafetti. Steffi Halm, the only female driver on the track in the blue Reiner truck number 44, is now in 5th position. Without her realising, her truck develops a technical defect. Coming out of the Villeneuve chicane, she suddenly crashes into the barrier, but she walks away unscathed. I drove round the chicane, then after that there's a right-hand bend. I turned the wheel, drove right over the curb, and at that moment there was a click. I slid towards the wall and couldn't stop myself. There was just too little space to bring the truck to a standstill. Well, yeah, as I said, that click was the spring failing, and so I couldn't even steer. You're just powerless. It's annoying, of course, to have a fault like that during a race. The fact it was in the first race is even more annoying. It was almost guaranteed I would come in 5th place and gain some more points from it.
Die 5. Position war einfach ziemlich sichere Punkte mitzunehmen.
And that was the end of the action. Norbi Kiss remained ahead and celebrated his 4th victory of the season as he finished ahead of Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz.
It was a very good race, very unexpected victory. Very unexpected victory, but I'm really happy about that. And I'm very thankful for the team, because my track was really good, you know.
Now for an overview of the results of race 1. Ondřej Kurzem finishes 6th, winning the Promoters' Cup class ahead of Jose Rodriguez in 7th place. Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort finishes 11th with Dominique Orsini 13th. The 30-year-old German driver Sascha Lenz finished on the podium for the first time ever in a main race. Fantastic racing from him. He's earned that applause, and the music begins playing as he's joined by Norbi Kiss and Jochen Hahn. A mandatory appointment on both days is the autograph signing hour, which is popular among fans and drivers alike. And Dominique Orsini is the first in the queue for an autograph.
This is my friend. No.
Truck racing is just the best type of motorsport. It has action, tension, the races are fun, and you don't have just one race on a particular day. Instead, you have 4 races over a whole weekend, and that's also really interesting. The day's second race, late on Saturday afternoon, has Gert Körber on pole position. With 30 years' experience in the business, the word nervous is not in his vocabulary. Of course, I would have preferred my lap times to have been a little quicker so that I'd be on pole position. They were just a bit too slow. I mean, it's not easy to overtake here at Zolder. Of course, I'm trying my best to bring home a trophy for my team, but it's hard work.
Zolder ist nicht ganz so gut zu überholen. Ich versuche natürlich mein Möglichstes, einen Pokal für mein Team heimzufahren, aber es wird eine harte Arbeit.
Sharing the front row with Körber is the Portuguese driver Jose Rodriguez, who is leading in the Promoters' Cup. On the next row is his most formidable opponent, Ondřej Kurzem. Adam Lacko, complete with a new gearbox, is at the back of the grid after his original one failed in race 1. Now for the start, as they head towards the first corner, keeping within the markers. Körber again has a poor start and Rodriguez takes the lead, seen from Ondřej Kurzem's rear view camera. As 4th place starter David Rafetsky is forced onto the gravel. Moments later, Ondřej Kurzem manages to overtake Gert Körber, moving up to 2nd place with Körber in 3rd, followed by the Spaniard Antonio Albafetti. All is well at the front of the field as they make their way towards the first chicane, while at the back, the battles rage. Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort runs into Adam Lacko's rear end before colliding with the barrier, but he manages to drive away. That was the view from Klein-Nagelvoort's perspective, and that looking back from Lacko's rear camera. This time the Czech is lucky. The second lap at the front, the lead is hotly contested, with both drivers also topping the table for the Promoters' Cup, Rodriguez and Kurzem. It looks here as if the German makes it past the Portuguese driver, but not quite. Coming into the chicane, Kurzem cuts the corner, giving himself a clear edge and even taking the lead. But after the race, the stewards penalise him for the manoeuvre. His penalty of 3 places will apply to Sunday afternoon's race. The 4th lap, Kurzem has left Rodriguez and Körber far behind in his tyre tracks. And here, Adam Lacko is attacking Sascha Lenz. The Czech in 8th place claims 7th from the young German driver. Andre Kurzim is still in the lead. Further back, Albafetti first overtakes Gert Körber on lap 5. And then Norbert Kiss. Team Schwabentruck's dream of a trophy is probably over. Gert Körber keeps dropping back, ending up in 9th place. Jose Rodriguez, the Portuguese driver in the blue and yellow truck number 14, suffers the same fate. In the space of 2 laps, he drops from 2nd to 8th place. Let's watch from Norbert Kiss's perspective. He's in 3rd place behind Antonio Albafetti. Kurzim runs a little wide as the Spaniard in the white 23 truck risks an attack.
He made a small mistake in the first corner, and I tried in the second one, but the tires were not good. So I just couldn't put the power, and Kiss was close, and he goes in the inside, and that's it, you know. But I have to try it.
Albafetti falls to 3rd as Norbert Kiss overtakes him to move 2nd. These positions are unchanged until the finish line. Andre Kurzim just about holds off his teammate Norbert Kiss before the line, followed by Antonio Albafetti in 3rd. Kurzim celebrates the first victory of his ETRC career. At only 25 years old, this is a real triumph for the young German. I don't even know what to say. It's wonderful. We did everything right at the start. I managed to take the lead and increase the gap right at the start. And now we brought home victory. It's fantastic to be double winners. Let's have another look at the results. In 5th place, Adam Lacko collects his first points of the weekend behind Hahn, Albafetti, Kiss and Kurzim. The Tankpool24 Mercedes team cheers triumphantly as Andre Kurzim and Norbert Kiss have sealed the first double victory in the team's history.
Well, thank you very much.
The first day comes to an end, and all-around mechanics are working tirelessly to repair the damage, both big and small, suffered by the trucks. Not so for the show trucks, who work their magic at night on those loyal fans who are camping at the trackside. Midday on Sunday, and Adam Lacko in his number 55 Freightliner takes up pole position for race 3. The Czech was more than half a second faster than Antonio Albafetti in Superpole, but Lacko doesn't underestimate his Spanish opponent.
It's hard to say before the start. We see after the start, but Antonio have really good start every time, and I hope I have also a good one.
On the second row, it's German versus German. Jochen Hahn against Steffi Halm, who finally managed a respectable time in qualifying. Now we'll just see what happens in the race. At any rate, I'm motivated and I want to be near the front by the end of the race. Definitely not in first place, but I'd really like to make it onto one of the steps of the podium. The start is a simple matter for number 55 on the right-hand side. Adam Lacko wins out against Albafetti. The Spaniard runs wide at the first corner and pays the price at turn 2, where he's overtaken by Jochen Hahn. We had to cope with a few problems at first, but then after the first bend I was lucky in that Antonio came out too wide. Then I took advantage of the opportunity to move up to second. Adam Lacko at the head of the field, followed by Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albafetti, while Steffi Halm maintains 4th position. From the Dutchman Erwin Klein-Nagelbold's cockpit, we see how Andre Kurzim has to hold off the Portuguese driver Teodosio in number 99. And then the Dutchman overtakes Teodosio himself. Now, from Andre Kurzim's perspective, he can see his contender for the Promoters' Cup, Jose Rodriguez, ride out wide onto the grass. Kurzim in 9th place, Rodriguez behind him 10th. Meanwhile, the positions remain static among the top 5. Further back, though, Sasha Lentz and David Rosetsky are battling it out for 6th position. On On lap 8, Steffi Halm in 4th behind Alberthetti takes an almost perfect line, but she misjudges her speed and skids into the tyre wall at the side of the track. She doesn't lose much ground, remaining ahead of Norbi Kiss. Adam Lacko is the first across the finish line and wins at Zolder. Second place goes to Jochen Hahn, followed by Antonio Alberthetti.
On the start I stay on the first position, and after I go to the front and I look to the mirror and to Jochen, I have a bigger and bigger gap, and I all time thinking for my truck, don't something happened, and it stay like knock, and I'm very happy.
I'm happy just to lose one place and to keep this third position. So yeah, it's good for us, it's more points for the championship, so happy.
Looking at the table for the third race, Ondrej Kurzim is in 8th place, meaning he will start on pole position for race 4. What a fantastic podium. 3 happy drivers with 3 happy wives.
Third round, third race of the weekend. Time for notice.
Do you love truck racing? Well, if the great big toys are a little too expensive, then we have the thing for you. The world of logistics in miniature. Remote control model trucks. One of the most visited stalls in the paddock at Zolder. With Ondrej Kurzim in pole position, we come to the final race. Alongside the Team Tankpool24 driver is David Rosecki. Kurzim is feeling optimistic after yesterday's win. I think we might be able to win again. A few sections of the track are still wet, which should work in our favour, as we're fast in the rain too. I mean, we're particularly fast in the wet. I don't think we've got a bad chance at all, but it's going to be difficult.
Ich denke, die Karten stehen gar nicht so schlecht, aber es wird schwierig.
In fact, every driver in the top 8 for the reverse grid race has a chance of winning this race. The start from Ondrej Kurzim's rear camera. On the left is David Rosecki, followed by Sascha Lentz and Norbi Kiss. Kurzim beats Rosecki in the sprint as they head for the first corner. The 4th start in Zolder is relatively tidy. In previous years, it has often looked very different indeed. From Antonio Alberthetti's cockpit, he sees Hungarian Norbi Kiss overtake Sascha Lentz in his Mercedes-Benz to move up to 3rd position. The Spaniard Alberthetti also manages to pass Lentz, taking 4th position and forcing Lentz into 5th. But Lentz is then overtaken by Adam Lacko and moments later by Jochen Hahn. On lap 4, Alberthetti is battling Lacko. The Czech takes a tighter line and manages to overtake the Spaniard, moving up to 4th position. The midpoint of the race, Ondrej Kurzim is about 5 seconds ahead of David Rosecki and Norbi Kiss. In his number 33 truck, the Czech just about holds off Kiss, and so Lacko is able to catch up. Dutchman Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort skids off the wet track, giving the Portuguese driver Teodosio a chance to pass him at the end of the 5th lap in the battle for positions 11 and 12. The battle has certainly left its mark on the Dutchman. Now we're in Jochen Hahn's cockpit. Last year's European champion is still lagging in 6th position, but suddenly has some technical issues. Steffi Halm in number 44 uses the confusion to her advantage, overtaking first Lentz and then Hahn. Hahn had a screw loose, a fact that was certainly clear after the race. Meanwhile, in front of the crowds of fans, Lacko makes contact with Rosecki and Kiss. The Czech in truck 55 is extremely capable in the wet. Just before the end of the race, let's have another look from Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort's cockpit. Yet another trip through the gravel. The Dutchman fights like a lion, but finishes 12th, his efforts unrewarded. Ondrej Kurzim is the first to see the checkered flag. His second ETRC victory is the finishing touch to an exceptionally successful weekend. Jochen Hahn finishes 8th, while Lacko, the championship leader, is 4th. Ondrej Kurzim the winner. Amazing. It doesn't get any better. Overall, we have 4 Promoters' Cups, 2 first-place finishes, 1 6th, 1 8th. It's really good and doesn't get much better. The top 3 are Kurzim, Brzezinski and Kish.
Yes, all together on the first step. Yes, thank you. Well done.
After 7 out of 9 race weekends, Adam Lacko tops the overall classification with a 53-point gap between himself and German ace Jochen Hahn, who tallied 7 points. The Tankpool24 team will not soon forget this weekend at Zolder. No wonder, given their new silverware. Now we're off to Le Mans, where Adam Lacko could seal his triumph in the battle for the title.